if anyone that is not here can pick us up. Okay, so let's assume that those are the stories you're taking into the sprint, you're committing to. You know now that the goal that the product owner is bringing has changed. It's no longer working on payment by card and by PayPal. It's now just payment by card alone. Yeah, so that is what happens. So every PO has a goal. They have a plan already that this is what I want you to work on. Our focus for this sprint is going to be based on this and this and this. But by the time, like I said, through committing to the work because of your capacity and all that, goals can change. It can still remain the same. If the capacity says we can take everything in, yeah, and then you all agree together on that goal to say, okay, we're committing to it. So this is the goal. This is our focus. This is our goal that we want to achieve at the end of the sprint. And if the stories are dropped, like I've just explained and everything, that's when you unanimously agree on the goal again. So when you go into the sprint, the person that determines the work that is done within that sprint is the product owner.
Product owner, yeah.
Yeah, that's why she's the one that will say the what. Okay, we have a process already that is in place. So she doesn't say the process. The process is there already. You're using either Scrum or Kanban and everything. So the process is there. And you are the process facilitator. That's why you negotiate some things. That's why you don't allow all the stories to be taken into sprint, even though you know that your team doesn't have the capacity to do it. That's why you negotiate and all that. That is you working the process. Okay, so yeah, the product owner talks. You still need to, like, you had to negotiate to say, we need to take this out because of this and everything and all that, and then he has to agree to it.
Yeah, but that's
if he doesn't agree to it, is at his disadvantage. But you objectively explain it to him or her on to a point where he can see reason with your explanation, and then definitely agrees to it, and then the team commits to what needs to be done.
Because it depends on the capacity, isn't it? The team's
Definitely.
capacity, yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question before we go to DSU? Okay. So before we go into the DSU, I have one question, and then we're going to share our board anyway, because our workshop is going to be based on what we have on our board. So Martha, you're in the hot seat for Emerald tonight, because I think you're the only Scrum Master from Emerald who is here. But before
Victoria is here. Uche is here. Victoria, Uche.
I'm here, but
Victoria is here also. Okay.
I'm half and half.
Wait, excuse Vivian.
Okay. All right. So I just want to ask a question. Within yesterday and today, within you, okay, so yesterday there was even we didn't do any workshop and all that because of the introduction that was done for the general the next program. How many Scrum Master, how many of you here monitored your board? You monitored the work on your board?
For me, I did not do anything today. But
Not
yesterday
today,
we were
yes. How many?
Yesterday I went to the board, but I wasn't okay, there was something that was undone in the tax board, but it was not assigned. I think it was it was the developers that dumped it there. So we were asking what was going on with the tax in that place.
Okay. So Daniel, you monitored the board, and then Vivian also. Vivian, I didn't want to stress you because of your. Okay, let me do this. Daniel, did you notice anything on your board? That's Ruby, isn't it?
Yes, Ruby.
Did you notice anything?
I noticed what I was focusing on was on our task board, and I noticed that our developer moved some tasks across board to after he created the test the test environment for the testers. So I went to check and I discovered that he moved some of the tasks that he was working on across board, and then some were still not moved. So apparently he hadn't worked on those, and those were really my concern at the time. But anything else, I might have missed it.
Okay. Vivian, Ruby also, or Emerald?
Yeah, it's Emerald. I think we, myself, Martha, and Delphine looked at the board yesterday when we were doing our Teams wiki for the sprint planning. And what we found that there's one story in is it approved? No, in committed. So we were not sure why the story was still there. And also I think we had either 2 or 3 in the done column. But looking at it on the face of it, doesn't seem as if much is happening. But I know the developers and QAs are having meetings. They had meetings yesterday. I don't know about today, but when you go and look at the board, I'm not sure really that the meetings they are having or whatever the outcome of those meetings are actually reflecting on the board.
Okay. All right.
There doesn't seem to be much movement happening with the sprint
Okay.
board.
So why I asked was because I went on your board
Mhm.
today just to check what is there, because I know we're going to have this, workshop today. And part of what we're going to talk about that was the reason why I went on your board. Okay, so when we had remember when we had the sprint planning workshop, I did say that there are 3 stages for any of the events that you as a Scrum Master needs to go through or get used to. What are those stages?
The pre-stage,
Mm-hmm.
the event, and the post-event.
Okay. All right, thanks for that. Okay, so, and that was why I asked if anyone monitored the board before today's DSU. So, having said that, Vivian, what do you think the pre-stage would be for daily stand-up?
The pre-stage for daily stand-up would be one, like you said, looking at the board, looking at what progress has been made so that can be factored into the DSU, can be discussed and to follow up on the progress. And it's also about, for DSU, identifying who's going to facilitate the DSU and really having enough information to present or to get as much information as possible from, for instance, the developers and who are working on the project.
Okay,
Who
so
are going
thanks
to
for
work
that.
on the project, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that. So your pre-stage would be you monitoring the board, and don't do your monitoring like, let's say 1 hour before. And that was why the question I asked earlier on says, who monitored the board between yesterday and today? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want it to be, oh, I monitored it an hour before we joined. See, when you monitor your board constantly, there are some things that you don't need to wait till DSU to discuss it with your team members. You notice things, you have a communication platform, you notice who is working on the story, you're tagging the person on your communication platform that, oh, I noticed this and this, I just need clarification. Is it that you ask them the question? Okay. So some things would have been sorted or clarified even before you get to the DSU. So if you notice things, you jot it down and you say, oh, when I get to the DSU, I will bring this up and everything. That time when you notice it, between that time when you noticed it and between your DSU, that thing could have been rectified and saves, a lot of time wasting while you're waiting for the DSU. So when you monitor your board and you notice anything, tag the person that you feel you need the question or the answer from, so that gets sorted as soon as, because the person might not know. So I noticed some few things on your board, which by the time you share your screen and all that, I'll be able to show you, so that going forward and monitoring your board, at least you know what you're looking for. You know the things. Like I always say, your board talks to you. Things on the board talks to you. but you have to get used to the board in order to see to know what it is saying to you, isn't it? So if you don't go there as often as you should, you wouldn't know what it is saying. You wouldn't see those, few things that you're supposed to see or to notice on the board. Mr. Deji always call Scrum Master drones. And at times when he says that, one would always think, oh, but we do work. We're not just, lazing about droning. You know what drones do? They just move about and everything and all that. But as a Scrum Master, really, you're drones. And you're being drone is you're going everywhere, checking that things that needs to be done is actually being done. The process is being followed. You're monitoring the process. That is what you're doing. But checking things so that it doesn't get to times when it's too late. That's when those things are noticed and then work is not completed and then the goal is not achieved at the end of the sprint. So when you notice them early enough and you flag them or you let the right person know, they deal with it, it makes things smoothly. So they are working. It might be because they're developing, they're testing, the BAs are writing stories, the DAs are doing what they need to do and everything. That's when you kind of miss that. They miss it, but you have to catch it. You have to pick it as a Scrum Master. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go on. Did you want to say something, Vivian?
No.
Okay. All right. So let's go on the board. And then we will share the screen. I won't say what it is. I'll try and see if you can still catch it. And then when you can't, I would tell you what it is. Okay. Anybody wants to share first? Ruby, Emerald, anyone?
I can go first.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes. Okay. All right. If you move let's move to the right. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. So let's start with your DA columns. So your DA, I noticed that they've done their stories in DA, they've moved it to DA done. Yeah, at least you have 4 stories in DA done, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. What is going to happen to those stories in DA done, Daniel?
They'll get moved to the done done column since the stories don't get QA'd.
Yes. Okay, so before you move it, what do you think you need to do with the DAs?
Confirm with them if they've actually done it.
Confirm that it has actually been done. Yeah, very well. Thank you for that. And also, there's something else that you need to check. So if I check and then Formulayo said, oh, I'm finished, I'm done with that. And then no, don't let me call Formulayo zone because I will give it away. There's something you need to check on those stories. I'm looking at it and it's talking to me. It's shouting it out. What do you think? Anybody? Don't leave it to Daniel alone. Anybody, could be anybody from Emerald and all that because it's a workshop, so it's open to anybody. What are you noticing, especially on the second story in the DA done?
It's not in the sprint.
Sorry?
It doesn't show that it's been added to the sprint.
Okay, so yeah, all the DA stories are not in sprints. That's number one thing I noticed. If you check where iteration is, there's nothing on their iteration. Even the ones that have been moved to the done column. The first
Yeah.
story that has gone into done column at the top, they create
Well, they're technically not in the sprint though. So, well,
sorry?
yeah, because they're technically not in the sprint, they're not part of the sprint though. So,
Okay, so were you told not to add them to the sprint?
Yes, we
um,
were told not to add into the sprint.
Okay,
That's why it's not even estimated. If you check our abundance chart, you see
yes.
that it's not reflecting at all there.
On it.
So,
Okay, yeah. All right, I get that. That's fine. Okay, I get that now. So my observation then would suffice, because I was going to say the second story in the done column has no task on it. However, if you look at the first one, the first person created a task,
mm,
so their story, but the second story they create something function, I don't know, function or so, doesn't have a task on it. So some created a task against their story, some of them didn't. Okay, so let's now go and look at the big picture concerning the DAs. Open the first story in DA done. Yeah, that one. Open it up. What did you notice?
no user story.
Sorry,
No user story.
there's no story.
Yeah,
And they
there's no
were
story.
taught how to write stories.
Mm.
There's no description. So we just have the title, installation of SSRS. That's just the title. We don't know what it means. She didn't write the story to that. And
okay, Moji, if I can come in there, I
yes,
actually noticed that in some of other stories written by the BAs. I don't
that
know.
is in Sprint.
Okay, I think apart from, we made a mistake the other day, like yesterday we were on the board, today also, when we were trying to change the stuff from new to in-dev, we moved some of the stories, or they moved by themselves when we are trying to reconfigure the board. So I think we picked a story that nothing was on it at all. Contact us.
So it might be a story that they are still working on. So maybe it should be in the backlog or in BA. They're still working on it. It must have gone into your sprint by mistake.
Yes, I mean the day we were reconfiguring the board, they
Did
have
you do what Daniel did? Is that Emerald or Ruby?
This is Ruby.
I think it was actually myself that made the mistake. I did take a screenshot, but I think I mistakenly picked one of the stories that wasn't added to the sprint, and I moved it to the committed column. So I think the very last story that I moved, I'm not sure how it happened, but I think it was that mistake was mine, not think. That mistake was mine.
Okay.
Yeah, what I'm actually talking about it is now that it has happened, you have to tell us how to correct it, because the last time I was there with other BAs with the developer, so he was asking, I have to explain, but how do we correct it?
You take it back. It was mistakenly moved into the sprint when it shouldn't be. So you just take it back to BA. Ask the BA, are you working on this right now? If they said no, that should be in the backlog and everything, you take it back to the backlog.
Okay.
Yeah.
And move the correct one to sprint.
Yeah, if you left the correct one out of sprint,
Yes.
but it's possible that you didn't remove anyone out of sprint. You just took in the wrong story, what, because of the board configuration that we had to do again. So you just explain that to them, that this was mistakenly moving to the sprint. I'm just going to return it back, and then you do that.
Okay.
Yeah. But just carry them along so that they know.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would have expected, okay, because I opened some of the stories. I actually thought all the DAs were not writing stories. They just had titles and all that. And I did know that they said that they have to get in touch with the BAs to teach them how to write stories, and that they should write the stories. So for this person, there were no stories. She's done what she needed to do, which again, we can see she's done what she needed to do. And then she's moved the story on. Yeah. Why I wouldn't, because it's a BA work and all that, why I wouldn't talk much is that I would have I didn't know what their tutor told them. Yeah. So I wouldn't want to jump, and then get you in kind of a conflict with them by saying, okay, so why didn't you do this and that? But if I've been told to, okay, this can just be an installation on another app or another software, maybe Visio or thereabouts another, but she should have given an information, because right now we don't even know what SSRS means. She might say, oh, it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with development work and everything. But the fact remains that the project sponsor wanted them to know how to write a story, and puts those stories there. Yeah. And it's not there. So if you are, when you were monitoring the board and all that, I just picked it on, I just picked it up. It wasn't as if I opened all the stories that they had and everything. I just picked one up. I picked this one up, especially because it wasn't done. And then I noticed, okay, so there is no story. It has a task. So there was no reason, for me to just, but like I said, as a Scrum Master, you can't be too careful. You can't be too complacent. You have to be up and up, if I can put it that way, on your game. Some of your team will slack, but you have to be there. That's what you're monitoring and guiding them is all about. Okay, so I would have expected that you would have gone on your platform and tagged this person, or if you don't want to, tag her on the platform and everything, you can DM her to say, oh, Fumilayo, I noticed that there are no description in your story and all that. And if you close this one and open another one, there's somebody else that has a full description in their own. So I can as well tell her that, oh, do you mind, meeting with, I think that's the one that has to do with, is it download? One of the ones in Keyway has a full story in it. No, the H, is it loop up or something? H loop up or so. If you Christina Zone, if you open it, she has a full story. Is it this one? No, there's one of them there that has a full story in it. Keep checking. There's one of them that has written his own full story. Most of them didn't write story, but there was one I opened and I thought it was that loop something.
Maybe it was from last
Check
week.
on one. One of them has, because at first I felt okay, so all of them didn't write until I saw that one. Or was it Emerald one that has a story? Let me check.
No, are you sure it's not in the passport?
In the no, not chatbot. It's the story itself. Because if they have a story, the description in the story it will show. No, it's not Emerald. It's Ruby, because even Emerald does not have any story in Dayton. I can check. Bear with me. Just checking through my side. Yeah, it's the loop hop one. Daniel, what happened? Why is it not showing on your side?
Is V lookup or H lookup?
The H loop up one from Christiana, that one that Christiana wrote. Yeah, open the story.
I did open it. Oh, okay. I did not expand it. Here.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
See? So she wrote the story. She even wrote acceptance criteria. Yeah. Into our own. So seeing that, you can just DM from that or any other one that you've noticed. Like that time I was talking about, between your 7 and your 8 is the time where they can meet and do this. Once you notice that and everything, and on your team's channel, you can have more than one meeting on your channel. So you can actually be having or your other team's activity and everything, and then get them, to meet on another, generate another meeting for them to meet on the
It's
DAs
actually
and
what we did
everything.
yesterday. When we came together yesterday, we divided ourselves, the BAs, the DS, yeah, and they were working on their own.
Yeah. So Christiana can actually show the others who have not written their own story how to write it. Or they can actually look at her story to say, okay, so she's writing about loop up. I want to believe that H loop up, they were all taught, not just Christiana knows about it. Look at the way she wrote her own story, and then look at the one they are working on, in order to just use her own example to write their own stories. So you can do that. You can note that down to reach out to them to do that. Okay, so let's close this one. So just note all the ones that have not written their stories and all that, and then you can help them out to do that. That's for the DAs and all that. Okay, so I know a lot of them also didn't join the DSU on time. Yeah. And as a result, you were not able to ask them to say, okay, so today is Friday, the remaining 4 stories they have, to get an update on it before the end of sprint, to know why, or not why they are not done, but if there were any impediments, to know why those ones are still pending. Was there because there is an impediment or thereabout? Just to have that view and all that. Okay, so let's now go to the QA side of things. So that's for the DA. Those are the things I noticed for the DA. Okay, so if you scroll up, so the keywords have for the keywords on, yeah, let's go on the sprint. At least they are in the sprint. So let's go and look at their story in the sprint. I noticed something. I want to see if everybody noticed it. Let's start with the first story. What did you notice with the first story?
Which story are you talking about now?
The 4499.
Yeah, the sign up page.
4499. Okay, there is no task.
There is.
There are tasks, but
Okay.
sign up page, content, developer sign up
Okay,
page,
sign up page.
yeah.
Yeah, the sign up page story.
Okay,
What did you notice?
There's the test case creation is unassigned.
Hmm?
The test case creation, the task is unassigned. Then there are no hours attached to the tasks.
Sorry, Daniel, what did you say? Sorry about that.
The test case creation is unassigned, and then there are no hours. There are no hours assigned to the tasks.
Okay, so they didn't estimate in hours all those tasks that are there, but there's still another thing. Okay, maybe because you don't know the process of how the keyways work. So for you to carry out, to execute your manual tests, you need to create your test cases first. But if you look at the task card for test cases creation, it's still in to do. But the manual test that is going to do after he has created the test cases is in progress. So how is he creating the manual test, when the test cases are not created yet? But
Can you
again,
please
maybe because you don't
recap?
know the
Can you please
process of
recap?
how they run their manual test, yeah?
I didn't get that. Can you recap, please? They are
Okay,
supposed
so
to do
for you to carry out your test, you need to create your test cases.
Okay, yeah.
And then once that has been created, you run your test, manual test after that. But if you look at the story, the way he has moved the story, whoever is working on that is that author.
The issue is, like I tried to access today, there was nobody around to clarify this. I don't even know who moved this story. It's not supposed to be Otto. He's not around. So I don't know who is moving it. I don't know who is working on it.
On it.
I've tried
The
to ask.
Tosin that is on it, what role is Tosin playing? The Tosin, is it Odipe or something?
Tosi possibly should be one of the bodies. I don't think she's a QA. We have only two QAs. As at yesterday, there was Losbeth found QA that came around. Yeah, apart from him, Olusegun and Otto. Tosi is a BA.
A
You know,
BA,
all of
okay.
these things are confusing to me, honestly, because if you come here, the names you're saying are that of BAs.
That's another thing. We'll go back on the main board to
Yeah.
I'll explain how those are supposed to be for you. Okay. But when I came here, one thing I was seeing, when I was seeing 6 tasks, I was wondering why. Okay, so your developer has finished working. The sign up page, you can see sign up page dev. He's moved it to the done column, but there are still other 2 tasks for developer or development. Can you see the front end development sign up page, back end development sign up page? Who created those tasks? Because I don't think it's the developer.
They just asked us to create it.
Who?
These are the things I don't also understand. Yeah. He asked us to create this. This first 4 was created by me. Later, he asked us to create all of this.
Okay, because right now, I'm not sure if he did that to teach how to create tasks.
I think so. I think so. Because
the developer has come now to create his own task, you can see, and has moved, when he finished, he has moved it to done.
Yeah, you know, he actually asked us to do it. So I was wondering if it was really our job to do it, or maybe he was trying to teach us. That was the day I was doing DSU. So he came in and asked me to start doing it immediately. And afterwards, he asked us to continue with the others. That next day, we didn't do it. He came in and said, oh, you people didn't still do this. You have to do it. So ordinarily, it's supposed to be developers doing this, but for the fact they are not there, I don't, you know, some of these things you read theory, you come, it's not really working the way it's in your brain. It gets confusing at times and quite overwhelming, not just confusing, because if what you know in the theory is not rhyming with what you're seeing in the board, somehow it's a bit distressing, because sometimes even when the developers are not there, you can't ask questions, you can't really get focused and get it the way it should be. So I'm not trying to put the blame on anybody.
No, I understand you. And you
Yeah.
see, the thing with teams, you have different teams who do different things. Okay, depends on how it works with different teams. I've known of teams where the lead, the tech lead, let me put it that way, would come after the sprint planning. Once the stories have been committed into sprints, will come on the task board and will be the one to actually share the story out to team members, because he knows the capacity, not capacity now, the capability of each one, what they can work on, and then would say, oh, you pick on that, you pick on that, you pick on that. But that is anti-pattern, isn't it?
Yes, it's anti-pattern.
Because team members are meant to be independent and are meant to pick work themselves.
Yeah.
Assign stories to themselves that they're going to work on. But you go out there, you know, like I said, the way it works with different teams, you have some teams doing that, and that tech lead will tell you that in order for them to finish, do you understand what they need to do? I know my team members, I know what each person can work on. I'm doing that, but that is micromanaging. That is waterfall. That is project management. You manage. Scrum masters don't manage, they guide and support.
Yeah.
That's why they're not called managers. Okay, so you have some working like that. And then you have some that would give that independence to their team members to say, okay, I'll pick this. So, do you want to pick that and everything? They come and they independently pick what they want to work on and create the task for themselves. You have that. You have another one where even if the team members are picking, the scrum masters, when they're doing the sprint planning, because they want everything, to be up and running at that meeting, they will start creating that stories. They're the ones sharing their board. They create the stories on behalf of um the developer and the testers while they are at that meeting to say, okay, so who is taking this? Oh, I'm taking that. All right, I created your task for you. I put, what do you want me to put as the title? They put the title. How many the estimation do you want me to put it?
Yeah.
They put it. They create that for them. But again, that is anti-pattern again to Agile, because Agile says be self-managed.
Yeah.
A team member has to be self-managed. You don't help them to do it. You let them do it. You guide them to do it, but you don't do it for them, or else you're taking the power away from them. Even though they are the ones that are saying, "Oh, help me to do this, help me to do that," and everything. So there are other teams that work like that. So, like you said, what you read, it's like when you're learning to drive, everything the instructor is telling you, you do. When they are sitting and they are doing your test, you will follow the rule and everything. All you need is your certificate, isn't it?
Exactly.
And then afterwards, you do
Meet your
your own
unique
thing
team where
on
you
the
will be.
road and everything. That is the same way it is. The guide is there, the book is there. And like I said, there was a time I was talking to you guys and I said the Scrum guide is that. It's not a law. It's not the law states that, the law stipulates that, is a guide to say we're guiding you that this is what the process is. But when you go out there, when it comes to practical, you see teams doing things in different ways. It could be anti-pattern to the guide, but they will tell you that the guide is a Scrum guide. It's just to guide us. It's not to tell us what to do. A team works the way they understand better. It suits them better. Though they should not completely deviate out of the Scrum
Yeah,
process.
the issue is we are still on the learning process.
I know.
And some of us, we pick this anti-pattern and start doing it. It wouldn't help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I may even stand and start arguing. I'm very sure this is the way it is done,
Mm.
Yeah, but while it's okay, look at Tosin has duplicated this because he didn't know what the meaning of what we wrote here, because he didn't do it, and he was not in the meeting. We did it when he was not there. The communication, the collaboration is not there. When we are not working in collaboration with the developers, it's quite difficult.
They're on your platform. You can still tag them and ask them
not
questions.
just tagging them,
I know.
calling them. Uche called them several. When you call them, they will tell you they can't do anything. The lead person will do. Like at work, you don't start calling people at home to come to work. We try to do this, but I mean, it's not quite easy the way it looks, or yeah, you're telling us to do it. We go to their DMs, we talk to them, we write, we call. Even at work, you try to do that, trying to kind of how do multitask, but still they don't come. How do you go about it? It looks like our course is so intensive, it's so stressful. I mean, what is stressing us are the human beings. You run behind people to tell them to come and work. If you're working where you are being paid, nobody runs behind you to tell you what to do. You have to come to work, do your work, and get paid. Even when people call you, send you messages, you don't call. It's difficult. It's quite difficult. What we are getting here is not a problem, but the human being here, they should at least do their own part of the work. Nobody comes to your door at home and start knocking, oh, come and do this. All we need to do is to write in the group. Okay, DM them private. Okay, call them. We do that, but still they don't come.
Okay, I understand you. But see, I want you to use that as a learning curve. You know why I'm saying that? there are some interviews you will go to and they will ask you that what are the challenges that you're facing. Okay, definitely you won't say it the way you're saying it now, because your time that you've spent here is like, not only are you doing the theoretical, the training and learning aspect, you're also doing work experience with the training that you're doing, isn't it? That's the practical aspect of you being in a team and all that is in. So this can be as part of your challenges, but definitely you're not going to go to an interview and say that, oh, we're calling the developer, they are not answering us because they are not part of the team and everything. You will work that challenge, that scenario in such a way that you're able to use it to talk. See, the person that is sitting down interviewing you, they know how difficult or challenging it is when it comes to supporting and guiding team members. So you wouldn't go there and say, oh, I don't have any challenge, I work well and everything. That's the end of that interview for that person.
I understand this part
Mm.
perfectly well, but I want that discussion with the developers. I want to, okay,
Yes, I know.
you're
You
telling
want
us
that
about,
experience. You want
yeah,
the
test
team to have that
creation,
experience
what
with them.
comes first and what comes. I'm missing that. That's just the aspect. I want to be talking to the developers, knowing what they're doing every day. I will learn from there. We all are working with people wherever we are working. I work in a
Yes.
team. I mean, a very big team. So we face these challenges. We know about it. But this discussion is very important. Maybe that's why people are not coming to DSU, because you start talking stories of the videos you watched. We are learning to talk it
Which I
too.
observed today. It's not really, I know. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll take that on board anyway. I'll take
Yeah.
that on board. I might feed that back to yeah, don't worry. I'll feed that back to admin to allow me, and then that can be taken up to management and all that. Yeah, but let's just notice those few, because like when I jump on your board and everything, and I noticed the story. Actually, it was from the main board when I saw 1/6, and I'm seeing the story in QA. I'm wondering, six tasks, and the story is in QA and all that. How many tasks has been worked on and all that? And that was when I came on the sprint board and I noticed the developer has taken his own work to done. Yeah. But there are other stories that has to sorry, not stories, tasks that has to do with development. I'm seeing front end development sign up page, back end development sign up page. So I understand why Deji said create that. So I'm not, because maybe he as the developer has done something at the back end, some development work at the back end, okay, that he has also done also at the front end. I'm not sure of, and that was why he said create that, or he wanted you to know that there is a possibility that the developer might need to do something at the back end, yeah, and also come to the front end to do some things before the tester can carry out their own test. And that's why he said create that task. But as you rightly explained, the developer was not at this meeting.
Yeah.
He didn't know tasks were being created for him. So he joined and he did normally what a developer would do: create his own task himself,
Exactly.
work on it, and
Work
then
on
take it to
silos.
done.
Yeah.
That is what he has done.
Mm.
Okay. So in this situation now, if the QAs do their manual test, they do their test cases, and they do their test automation, and everything gets done, and they put it in QA done, the BA picks it and do UAT, that story will get to UAT done. And those two tasks of front end development and back end development will still be on the story. And your developer will tell you, I've moved my own tasks, I've done what I needed to do, and I've moved my own tasks.
Okay, like this sort of guy yet now in progress. How do we go about it? It's in progress. Who is working on it? We're not hearing anything. We're not getting, he's not working on it.
But somebody moved that story to MBA. That's
Okay.
they came to the DSU. This is where you open and you share and you talk to say, okay, so author is now around. Author's task has been moved to in progress. Who is actually working on that story? Moving that task. If anybody in any of the other testers own up, then they are supposed to change that that task assigned to author to themselves, because author is not in the sprint. Do you understand? But they didn't
Yeah.
even come, you know. to the DSU. So we can't
Mm.
even get clarification on who is working on that. And that's for the first and the
Mm.
second story, if you notice.
Two of them are working. I've spoken to them. Most times they're working in the evening, they come late. And most times when you call, they actually come to our meetings. They try to,
Your
if
QAs.
you give them, yes, like today, we gave them what to do. They told me that both of them are working on it. I mean, the two that are remaining. The other people, one of them is Suleiman or the Selman, pops in and out. It's not necessarily there. You're right to call, he doesn't respond.
So the two that are at least actively participating, one of them must have moved the stories and all that.
You
So,
have to knock again
yeah,
on the other.
that's what the update is all about, to know who is doing what is being done.
I think the task must have been moved by Arthur himself last week, because this particular task
Okay, he started working on it prior. Those are the two stories that was spilled over. Are they?
yes, they came from the last sprint. So I think it must have
Okay.
been moved by Arthur from the last sprint.
Last sprint. Okay. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have moved it in progress. We started this new sprint, sorry. He wouldn't have moved it here. It should be, yeah, somewhere in to do. Because this is a new sprint that just started. We noticed it was created, I think, on the 5th of, or 21st or so, yeah. But he wouldn't have moved it here. So
When did your sprint start?
on Monday.
What date is Monday? 22? Let me
Yeah,
check.
let's see.
So if Monday is 22nd and the date on it is 21st, it's possible that he was the one that moved it, because that 21st will be Sunday, isn't it? And it was still part of the sprint, the last sprint on Sunday.
I don't think
Am
so.
I right? You know where? Okay, yeah. Check with that. No. Is the time one? No. At the bottom. Is at the bottom. Close this one. The one that looks like a time at the yeah, that one.
It was moved by Arthur 20th.
Yeah.
It was moved
So
by
he was the
Arthur.
one that moved it.
Yes.
Okay, he moved it on the 21st. Okay, so it's the tester account that moved it on the 21st. So we wouldn't know who used the tester account to move it.
Yeah, we are just discussing about our DSU. I'm just telling you that the challenges we are facing.
I know. I know. Because at least I saw it today. Almost just Scrum Masters alone that did, and the BAs, really. And no matter what, developers are there to talk or not, they have to come and talk about what we're working on. We had, when I had my internship, we had the same issue. We don't use to, our developer was working outside the sprint. When he comes on and do what he needs to do and everything, we're not even there. We don't even see them at the meeting. But when we come to the meeting, we get updates from the QAs.
Okay. Another thing is that there are dependencies, or there are double stories both Ruby and Emerald are working on. The Emerald are working on landing page, we're working on landing page. They have side panel, we have side panel. So
are the side panels different, or it's just one side panel, but different things have been added onto it?
I think only
that's what the developer was confused 2 days ago, trying to rectify that.
Is it different side panels?
And that is what we are supposed to come together to know exactly what they're doing and what we are doing.
So that's another thing that you can do on your SOS platform.
I've communicated to them. Maybe we'll arrange for meeting.
Talk to the other Scrum Masters and together arrange a meeting that will have everybody on it, in order to, and get your PO to be there. So because the PO will clarify.
Okay.
That you're noticing some dependencies. You have features on landing page. They have features on landing page. So you're checking with the PO who is actually creating the, because the two of you can write stories for landing page. It will be different.
Yeah.
So one of the team has to write about the landing page, how it is created, and then maybe what now happens is the features that go on the landing page. So they might have Emerald might have features that go on the same landing page, and then you also might have, like we have the side panel now where we have Ruby Team project, Ruby Summer project. We have that side panel. So all those features there might be overview is the one that Emerald is working on. Boards is the one that Ruby is working on. Yeah, but that space itself, that panel, who creates it? Which of the team creates that?
Yeah, the two teams that are creating it will necessarily need to talk about
Yeah,
it tomorrow.
that the PO has to clarify that.
Yeah.
So the two teams might meet together to say, oh, we need to, we need to know who does this and everything. You reach an agreement, you meet with the PO, get what is it called from the PO, time that is available, facilitates maybe one Scrum Master from Emerald, one Scrum Master from Ruby facilitates that meeting. Get your BAs to be there because they're the ones that are going to write the stories, and get that clarification in place.
Okay.
Because definitely they'll be using the same environment. The dev environment is the same since it's the same website.
Yeah.
What is just different is each team developers are going to go there and create their own process, their own pathway on that website. So there can't be two, it's just one. So it's good you notice that, at least just note it down and then run that discussion and everything with the other Scrum Masters. You can maybe at this meeting that you have, you can tell me, oh, Moji, is it possible to give us roughly 20 minutes or 25 minutes for us to discuss regarding the dependencies and everything, notice it, and, like I said, decide, pick one person to represent your team, pick the other person to represent the other team, and then try and see who reaches out to Bolu to talk about that. Get your BAs to be on board and everything. The other BAs also comes on board, and that aspect is clarified.
Okay.
But that's what happens most times when you have two teams working on a project. There will definitely be dependencies, but you have to work together. And that's what your SOS mostly is for in the workforce out there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not sure now because Deji was the one that said create the front end and back end story, because I noticed it's on the other one also, front end, back end, and
Yeah,
everything
we
like that.
just did that. I believe he
So
wanted
I'm
us to
not sure
know
if
how
it's
to do
something story you want to remove, or I don't know, because he said create it. I don't want to. I don't know. But I just know that by the time this story gets to QA done and maybe UAT is done on it, those two development tasks will still be live. And you can't take the story to done. Once you take it to done, with those two stories being live, when you close that story, it is going to give an hazard sign to show you that there's still two active tasks on it that has not been done.
Okay, another thing is two of these stories are now in done. If you check our burn down charts, it's not reflecting, but we configured it. I don't know why.
Two stories are in done already.
Here, are they not in done here?
No. This is task that is in done, not the stories. The one here, the one with the blue.
Okay, the task doesn't reflect.
No. Your task doesn't reflect, except if you create a chart for your task. There is the same way you create a task for a PBI, you can create a burn down for your task.
Okay, then that's
also, but really it doesn't. It just shows your tasks that have been done.
Okay,
it's the story that needs to get to done before you see that reflecting on your burn down chart.
It's correct. It's not end to end. It's not complete.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's come out of here. I think those are the things I noticed, those tasks and everything. And then, like you said, the tasks are not estimated in hours. Then let's quickly go back to the main board. I want to show you something that you need to tell coach your team members as Scrum Masters that they need to be doing. So go on the main board. Yes, that one. Okay, so when your BAs are working on the story, they put their name, they assign those stories to themselves, as you can see.
Yeah.
Their names are there and everything. once you commit them into sprints, once the developer picks it and starts working on it, they are supposed to change that name to their own. So where you have something Adenekon, I can't see is it Omolola also? Omobola
Yeah, I didn't know.
Adenekon. Once that story is in dev, I expect the developer to change that name. So their names.
I think Tosin did that in the task he created.
In the task he created, he did that, but he didn't change it in the story. So he moves this into, the developer moves this into in-dev. They're supposed to change that assigned to themselves. So what that is saying is, if there are 5 developers, I'm looking at this story without going on the sprint board, I know who is working on the story. Yeah, right now he's not reflecting that he's working on it, because if you check all the names on the stories in dev are all still the names of the BAs. The BAs have done what they needed to do. So it's not meant to be showing their names again. It's meant to be showing the names of the developer that is working on it. And then when it gets to dev done, yeah, and the keyway picks it up and puts it in keyway, that the keyway that is assigned to that story, working on that story, changes from the developer's name into their own name.
His name.
That reflects also that, okay, in keyway, this is the keyway that is working on it. And then when it gets to in UAT, the BA that is doing UAT on it, who might be the BA that wrote the story, yeah, might change it back to their name to say, oh, I did the UAT on it, and then they carry it to the end. But most times they don't change it, but they just leave it at the name of the QA that is working on it. But the developer needs to assign it, because what you're saying is, I've assigned this story to myself. I'm the one working in it. Once it's inside the in-dev, when it's still in committed column, it will be reflecting the names of the BAs that worked on it the same way it was coming from the back. But the moment it is picked up from the committed column and put in dev, the developer working on it is meant to change that to their name. And when it gets to dev done and the QA picks it into in QA to work on it, they're meant to change the name to their name, the name of the person working on it. So the story carries it, and then the task also is able to reflect it. Yeah. So that's another thing you might need to coach your team when you have your team activities and all that, to just bring them onto the board to say, okay, so this is the way we're, meant to work and everything and all that, so that they carry that reflection through.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So let's go to, thanks Daniel for sharing. Let's have Emerald also, so that we look at some few things. So that's how you monitor your board. Those are the little things that you might feel, oh, it doesn't matter and everything, but you monitor your board and then you're able to, see them and then clarify things so that you have kind of a smooth workflow, so to say. So who wants to share for Emerald?
1 second, please.
Okay, thanks, Martha. Sorry, who is iPhone?
I think it's Daniel.
Okay.
No, that's not Daniel. I'm not using iPhone today.
You're not using today, sorry.
Sorry, please, who is iPhone?
Sorry, it might be me. I was logged out. I'm gonna change my name again.
Oh,
Victoria.
okay. Is that Victoria?
Yeah. So I'm
Okay.
gonna change my name.
Okay, so let's go to, it says, please try to refresh your board. So just click on refresh.
Can you see the board now?
Yes, yes. Okay, you could see it before, but it was just giving you so that it doesn't close while you're looking at it. Okay, so Okay, so if you look at the first story that says side navigation panel, the story is in QA already and no tasks are created. So the developer didn't create any task. And the story has moved to in QA. Can you see?
Yes.
So you need to reach out to your developers to please come and create their task. They created for the one at the bottom.
Not this one.
Yeah, and that's taken the story, the development story to done, but they didn't assign it. So we don't even know the developer that worked on it, because you can see the story in done is saying, no, don't go down. Don't go down. Let's go
This
back.
one.
Yeah. It's saying unassigned. So we don't even know who worked on it.
That was what we mentioned during the stand-up, that we have some stories undone, but we don't know it's they
Who
are not
worked
on
on it.
yeah, they
Yeah,
are
so
not.
you need to reach out to them. So just reach out to your lead developer. I think that's Olu, to say that because all these they need to self-manage. Nobody's gonna help them to do it, and we need to know. So if we have an issue with that development now and everything, who do we want to relate to? Yeah, we don't know, because we don't know, except if you have to go through history, and you might even go through history, and then what you're seeing is the tester account working and not the name of the person that worked on it. So they need to, yeah. And then okay, let's scroll down. I
And
think
that one has no story. The development, if you click on it, yeah, that one.
4601.
There's no story. There's no description, no acceptance criteria on both of
yes,
them.
sometimes testers and developers, well, I don't believe in that. I think you should at least put something. Normally with your task, you won't have a description and acceptance criteria. It's only a story that has acceptance criteria. But when you open the task, at least you should be able to give description of what you did.
There's none on these ones.
Yeah. So sometimes they don't. They don't, they just create that task to say this. But one thing I always say is this: Azure DevOps didn't create that thing to have that description for fun.
Mm.
It is created there for a purpose. Okay. So, and you need to put the purpose there. When you say development, what did you develop?
Mm.
So because the story says become an instructor, student. So I should be able to open that story, and then I should be able to see what you did at the back end, the development you did at the back end. And there may be at times a screenshot of what you've developed, so that at least we know that you've done that and all that. I notice most don't do it, yeah, but good practice, would, because anything can happen that they needed information, you are not available. They should be able to pick that information up from your description
Mm.
that you've put in. That as in peradventure you are the developer had an emergency and something else needed to be done on that, and they just need the information, kind of. Yeah, I understand that they can still go to the back end because they're all working on the same environment and be able to pick things up, but it's just good to just put it there. That thing was created for a purpose. What that feature was developed for a purpose, and it should just kind of be carried along. The same goes for the testers also. They should be able to put something inside their task card also. So, and then the third story is in dev done, the dashboard. But if you look
Yes,
at
this
it,
one.
there is no task also. No task has been created
Mhm.
also. So just reach out to them, and let them know. I think, okay, so if you look at the second one, okay, so you'll see what I was saying. The second one, the person that created that story, you can see is Adegboyega or something. Yeah. And
Which
maybe
of
the
these?
developer, well, look at created. No, not that one. Let's go up. The second
This
one.
one.
Yeah. So you can see his name there, but you can see Uzo's name as the developer. So she assigned it when it was in dev. She assigned it to herself. So I'm thinking she's the developer that worked on it, but she didn't put her name in her task. Can you see?
Yeah.
So she did the story one properly, but she didn't. So now I know that the developer that worked on this story is actually Uzo. Yeah, because I know she's not a BA. I know she's a developer. And the QA has put it in QA column, but no, both manual and automation has not been moved. So, but at least somebody put it in QA, QA column because it's in QA.
Yes.
Yeah, but no testers story. So those are the things during stand up that you talk about when you share your screen. Really, it's not about the video that they watch and everything, but they need to start getting used to how a, a daily stand-up is done properly. You won't go to what you won't go to interview and say, oh, during that stand-up I talk about the number of the videos I watched. And no. You're talking practically, technically about what you've done. So, as the Scrum Master, I'm coming to the meeting, I'm saying, oh, this story is in QA, isn't it? Sorry, who is the QA working on this? Or you've moved the story to in QA, but your task has not been moved. Was that an oversight, or maybe there's an issue? They'll be able to explain themselves. It might be that they've forgotten. They say, oh, sorry, I'm supposed to have moved my manual test at least into, because manual comes with automation. My manual test into in progress and everything. So the whole thing has to correlate and sync and align together. You can't have, like we've seen, a story is in dev done or in QA and there are no tasks to show. So that means that developer did not come onto the task board after finishing. So just did what all he did was to work on the main board and then come to the task board, the sprint board, to carry things through. And again, that is part of self-managing or being self-organized. Okay. So you want to note all those before the meeting so that at the meeting you have what to say. The board had already spoken to you and you have what to say. You'll be able to be asking questions. So it won't be a thing of, because you didn't check also, you've joined, you're sharing your screen, and then they will just tell you, oh, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Oh, thank you, next, and everything. When really they've not done anything. That is what not sharing the screen does. When you don't share your screen so that they see, they can tell you anything and get away with it because you're not sharing your screen anyway, to see if what they're saying is in line with what you have on the board. And that's how you know where the gaps are and where you need to put your coaching session into. But for you to explain to them, you have to understand, the board yourself first.
Exactly. Like this one also by Adetola
Yeah,
in
I'm not sure
DevTools.
if Adedola also is. I'm thinking she's a developer also. So okay, she's finished working on it. Again, there's no task on them. It's just to tag them in your meeting. Once you notice it now, you can just tag them, and say, oh, sorry, Adedola, as a developer, I noticed that you finished working on the story, the dashboard story, but there are no tasks created against it. Could you please assist to create a task against it and assign it to yourself so that you can take that to done and all that. And then whosoever is the tester, well, it's still in dev done. So by the time the tester picks also, they need to create. So that one you have, because it's something they are learning, especially the testers for the first time. So there's every possibility that they just go ahead, do their, testing and everything, and they don't create the attack. So it's something you have to keep coaching them. So you telling them is you coaching them about it until they are, good enough to do it without you saying much about it. So it's not something you're going to say once and they pick it that once. I have to keep saying, helping them to keep saying it and everything until, they get there and they're able to do it. So once you're monitoring the board and you notice that, you just go on your Telegram platform. Oh, I noticed this story is in so the QA is working on it, but there are no tags and everything. And if you know the QA that is working on it, just tag them. Could you please create a tags against the story that you're working on? Thanks for your hard work, guys. And then you leave it again at that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so those are the things. And then I'm not sure if Martha, if your DAs are working in the sprint, because I noticed there are no stories for them on the main board. So if you go back to the main board, there are no stories for your. I didn't notice any story for the BAs on here. I'm not sure if you have columns for them, but I just noticed that there are no story for them.
No, we don't have any column for them.
Oh, okay. So you might need to configure columns for them. See, and the DAs in Ruby are working. If they are not working, and I want to believe the assignments that were given to the ones in Ruby that they're doing, are they also meant to be working on it? And they didn't even ask to say, SM, we need columns for the DAs. So reach out to them also, to let them know that their work is not reflected on the board. Or create the columns for them and then tell them that, your columns have been created for you. You can create it now and then we just tag them to say that columns have been created for you so that you can carry out your work.
Please, can we create it together?
Okay, yeah, sure. Let's do that. So where are you supposed
click
to
on this new?
No. Call a friend to help you.
Victoria, Vivian, are you there?
I'm here.
I'm here. I don't know how
Can
to
you
This is the
help?
wrong call a friend, you know.
Who wants to help
You're calling the wrong friend.
Martha?
Oh my goodness.
Vivian.
Uche or Chi,
Daniel.
Bribe Daniel.
Daniel.
I'm not cheap. What are you grabbing me with?
Daniel, Martha needs to create more columns. Where does she need to go to do that?
Okay, so on your board, you click on that settings gear. Go to the top right. Settings. You see that settings gear at the top right? No. Come down. The one below. No, just
Okay,
below
okay.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so go down and go to columns. All right, then you click on the plus sign, the column on top here. Click on the plus sign, then you can create in DA. Okay, hold on. Scroll down. No. Don't scroll down. Okay, yeah. Change the work in progress limit. Change it to 10 if you want, though. Yeah, then go back up. No. Use the second. No, the second. Yeah. Create another one.
Another column.
Yes. Then you can create DA done. Okay, go and change the work in progress limit too. So do you only want to create wait, don't save yet. Do you only want to create for DA and in DA and DA done? That's just the two you want to create.
That's just the two, yeah.
Okay, then change the iteration path. So yeah. Wait, this go down. Now this product backlog item, click on this drop down. Hold on. Scroll down. So that means you didn't create. Did you create for in DA? No, you did not. So unless
That's why
you're
we're just creating it. Okay.
no, I mean this part
Yeah.
where it will show
Okay.
here. So unless you're willing to reset your table again, so I don't know, but first you know what? First leave this. Maybe I'll leave Moji to answer this for you. But first, go back to that DA and then move it to where you want it to be. Like move the column to where you want it to be, where you want it to show on your table. So you need to move it around. There's a blue arrow just beside the in BA. Yeah, that's what you use to move across. So you need to move the in DA and DA done to What part of your
The last.
board do you want it to show? There's another arrow. There's another arrow. There's another. There's not a small blue arrow. Yeah.
After in it. I don't know if this is the right thing, but
So I think you're doing the right thing.
it's not showing again.
You can drop it, then click on the blue arrow. Click on the blue arrow. Oh yeah. You can do that. Yeah. You can drop it there first. Yeah. Then click that blue arrow to go to the top, to the right. Then yeah, you can do that. No, you can. Yeah, just there. Yes. So now, the only thing is that the iteration path. So I don't know, unless if you're willing to, reset your table again.
So let's phone the anchor. Moji, please, we are waiting on you for your help.
Okay, so the only thing you can do now is to go and configure, but before you do that, you have to do what Daniel did the other time. Take a screenshot of how your board is, because the moment you go to project settings to set things, it's going to move things around on your board. So do save and close for this one.
Let me take it.
Okay, so it's
You
now
need to take a
there, but
screenshot of everything.
you have to go to your inherited process. But before we do that, just take a screenshot of everything to know what story is where.
Don't be like Daniel. I think you can reduce the size of your screen.
Martha, do you want to reduce it so that?
Yeah, I've already taken a screenshot. I just want to paste it
Of everything
somewhere.
or just one side?
Of everything.
You have to do everything.
Let me show you what I did. It's not okay like this.
Is that your screenshot?
No,
Yes.
we can't see. You're only sharing your browser. We can't see the screenshot.
This is a screenshot. I pasted it on Word.
We can't see it. Or is it just me?
You are sharing your browser. You're not sharing your whole screen, so we can't see the word. We can only see the browser where your board is.
Okay.
Did you share your entire screen or just the window?
Can you see my board now?
We still can't
I don't
see
know
it.
what I did.
You know when you wanted to share while we're having
Yes.
the meeting? Did you share your entire screen or was it just your
I
browser?
shared my entire
Not a window.
screen. Okay.
Because we can't see it.
I'll stop sharing and share again. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we can see your Azure board, the sprints. Is this the Azure board now? No. Yeah, we can see your main board.
Can you still see it?
You've made it bigger. You zoomed it. You've zoomed in on it, but we still can't see what the screenshot that you've done.
Can you see my screenshot now?
Or I still can't see it. I'm not sure if I'm the only one or can
Yeah.
anybody see Martha's screenshot?
No.
No, what I'm seeing is the board.
Yeah. So
We're
when you share,
extending.
when you want to share your screen, I think you will see two options: share window or share your entire screen. So you will need to share your entire screen for us to be able to see anything else apart from your Azure board.
It doesn't give me that option, no.
Oh yeah, it's showing now. It's showing now. It's showing now. It's showing. Oh
I've closed it.
yeah, but I saw
Sorry.
it briefly. But that's not your full screenshot. So you need to take screenshot of everything on your board.
Everything on your board. So share again, Martha.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So this
you
is
need to
just
take a
part of
screenshot
it.
of that.
So you need to go back, scroll down, take a screenshot of that one again. You know where you stopped with this story. Go back on your Azure board now.
Can you guys see my screen?
We're just seeing your Word document alone now. Are you using Mac?
No, I'm using
Because I know Mac is the one that has issues like this.
HP.
It's me that have Mac that's
And now
driving me crazy.
it has changed.
The Mac is up for sale if anyone wants it. I've had enough.
But that thing that Daniel said, the option of share full screen, it doesn't give me that option.
What option does it give you when you want to share? What does it say?
It just says share. You want to share your. Okay, let me try it again. Share screen. Let's see.
Somebody has dropped off again. We're 6 now. Okay, so I think we're seeing your entire screen now. I think because that's your Word, that's your Zoom. Yeah. Okay, so you're back on your board now, isn't
Yes.
it? Okay,
Yes.
so remember, don't scroll too much so that you don't miss the other ones.
I just want to check where I 437. Since long. You guys should not sleep. Oh.
Don't worry, we're here.
Still awake.